so we're ready.
This is Jay.
This is A.
And this is Moxicated,
where we drop the booze and walk through the reality of life alcohol-free.
So grab your favorite mock, get ready to laugh, and let's get Moxicated.
Hello.
Hi.
I feel like every hello gets more
It goes up, it goes down. I don't know.
missed out fiery every time I feel.
Help is on the way, dear.
Help is on the way.
There's this meme account that has been giving me life lately. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, do I care if people get mad that I'm posting the same thing over and over again? It's called So You've Seen That or whatever, and they just always post memes about scenes from movies. And this one is when I say this and nobody understands.
Oh, yes.
And I literally could post every single one, and I
Yes.
did post two, but that was one of them when I say, help is on the way, dear, and nobody understands, because I say that all the time. I also say the one that I posted, it's me, Jessica.
Yes.
That's my actual name.
Yes.
But God, it's so good. And I'm like, is this annoying people? Or are they same? Or are they
No.
what the frick is that movie?
I think they're same.
Yeah.
For sure.
Same.
I put in my story the other day on Instagram something that I honestly thought you were going to respond to that was what movie is this quote from? Is there anybody out there?
I'm not saying it. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
That I also say freaking on the weekly.
And I did put, I think only one person will know this quote,
I'm
but
sorry.
nobody, it was crickets. And I was I was waiting for Jesse to respond and be
known.
I know exactly where that's from.
I do.
It's Titanic.
Movies are a pivotal role in my life.
Yes.
In your life. We're
Yeah,
millennials. That's what it was.
yeah.
We
And it's-
speak in movie quotes.
It's also funny to me that now people are so worried about the kids' technology, and I'm I literally only watched TV as a kid.
And it wasn't
All
great.
I did was TV.
It wasn't
It
Daniel
was
Tiger.
Jerry Springer, Maury, daytime
Ricky
television.
Lake.
Yeah.
Days of Our Lives. I literally loved it. Okay.
But
And
yeah.
my children get okay, they're into Looney Tunes right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna recommend it.
No.
Because it's really bad.
Yeah.
But I do have to remind myself when they come and ask me what a mistress is, because Daffy Duck has a mistress, that we were definitely watching things talking about mistresses, and I think they called them something else.
But no, really, I have to remind myself that a lot when I'm oh, the kids have just watched TV for half the day. I'm that's literally
That's
all I did was watch TV. And now I'm no wonder, to me, relaxing is turning the TV on, chilling in
Saying
front of
movie
it.
quotes.
Yeah.
It's comforting to
Yeah.
us. Yeah, no, it's so funny. Yeah, they affect everything in our life. I dream in movies.
Yeah.
I've dreamt I was in a movie before.
I've dreamt I was in a movie, too.
You've also dreamt about movie stars.
Yes, I am a very big dreamer. Not just daydreamer, because we know, as a Pisces,
She's a Pisces.
I
Stellium.
daydream.
She's a dreamer, girl. Guys.
Oh, I dream.
Girls and guys.
But yeah, I do all the dreams.
All the dreaming.
I do.
All the dreaming, and that's what we're talking about today. Dreaming.
Yes, dreaming. Drunk dreams, sober dreams.
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 Well, because I think that's we all dream.
Yeah. I think,
but
I think
some of us don't remember our dreams.
Yes.
I live with two individuals that do not remember their dreams, and it blows my mind. There's probably something to that. But
there is,
by the way,
we'll talk about that later.
That's another episode. Drunk dreams was something that really shook me, and I wasn't ready for. So I think it's really cool to talk about, necessary to talk about.
Yeah.
But before we get to the drunk dreams, we've always got some definitions for y'all.
Yes.
And I was so good that these are AI Google definitions.
Ooh, yes.
That's the first thing you see.
Yeah.
I trust AI in these situations. Okay?
Honestly, I do. They are driving cars. Why wouldn't they have definitions?
They're scouring the internet and pulling all the best things and giving them to me. It's good in some situations, guys.
Yes.
Not all. Okay. Dreams are mental experiences that occur during sleep, often involving vivid imagery, thoughts, and emotions, and are a natural part of the human experience. While the exact purpose and meanings of dreams are still debated, some theories suggest they play a role in memory consolidation, emotional processing, and mental housekeeping.
Yes.
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 But dreams don't just, I mean, there's different types of dreams, obviously.
Yes.
I think that we all know about nightmares. And I honestly would classify drunk dreaming as a nightmare, but I think that when you hear the word nightmare, it's so much more associated with children. But,
Yeah.
like, I've always still had nightmares. And I don't know if, like, as an adult, we just stopped talking about it, or it's just, like, not as normalized to be like, oh my god, I had a nightmare like last night, this is what happened. I feel like you tell like maybe your partner and that's it. But when we talk about kids and nightmares, it's like so extensive. There's books on how to help children with nightmares.
Yes.
I've both of us have gone to our healer to like be like, help us with our children's nightmares. Okay, so nightmares are distressing dreams that cause the dreamer to feel a number of disturbing emotions. Common reactions to nightmares can include fear and anxiety.
Yes.
And there's also lucid dreaming, which I feel like when I was reading this, I was like, this is dope. I don't know if I am able to be there. Maybe I have had like one or two lucid dreams, but lucid dreaming is when the dreamer is aware that they are dreaming.
I have these.
And they may have control over the dream. The measure of control can vary between the lucid dreams, and they often occur in the middle of a regular dream, when the sleeping person realizes suddenly that they're dreaming. Some people experience lucid dreaming at random, while others have reported being able to increase the capacity to control their dreams.
So I am one of those people.
Because you're a Pisces. It's all in there, girl.
But yeah, no, like, okay, so real quick. As a child, I had horrifying nightmares that I still remember till this day. I slept walked, I slept talked.
That was part of your lucid, I'm sure.
Yeah, the lucid. But so now as an adult, the lucid dreaming is usually if I get up, like, if I'm dreaming at that time and I go to the bathroom. So I, like, kind of wake up enough to go to the bathroom and then I come back. I can enter back into my dream and have like a little bit of control or be like, wait, I want to go back to this part of the dream. But then it's also hindering at the same time because sometimes I can't get out of it. And I'm like, Allie, this is a dream. Wake up. This is not reality. Like I'm literally telling myself that, Allie, this isn't real. This isn't real. Like,
Do you see yourself sleeping ever, or are you more like in the dream doing stuff?
So it's not like actually kind of see. I haven't really thought about if I see myself, but no, it's like I'm kind of laughing in my head because I guess in my subconscious when I'm talking to myself, I do see something different. Like it's almost myself, but it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's that person that's in the lucid dreaming part. And like usually in the morning, like I feel like it's on colder mornings when I'm really cold and I'll like put more blankets on and then I'm like like you know like when you wake up and you're like but then you like get that great hour of sleep that you wake up and feel so much like more refreshed. That's when I'll have like very lucid dreams.
Okay, yeah. I feel like when you have, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't know if it's like a parent thing or an old person thing, but like you wake up early in the morning and you're like, oh, okay, like I go to the bathroom or whatever, it's like 5 or 4, and you're like, okay, I got like a good hour and a half left, and you go back, and I feel like I'm doing marathons in those dreams. Like I can't control them, but when I wake up from those, I'm like, oh my god, the places I've been in the past hour are intense.
Yes.
It's something to be said about that. That's so interesting, and I wonder if people that experience it like you, like just are at more of a constant state of how we are when we wake up and only go back to sleep for an hour. That's so crazy. I just think that's so cool, like the idea of being able to control your dreams. Like, of course, there's a catch to it. It can be scary because you can't get out, but like, wow. Yes. Cool. You're so cool.
You.
Okay, facts. Here's a couple facts. We may not remember dreaming, but everyone is thought to dream 3 to 6 times per night.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, what happened? It went away. Okay, sorry about that. And then another one. It is thought that each dream lasts between 5 to 20 minutes.
Crazy.
Which is crazy, because sometimes those things, I mean, I'm like, I've been here for days.
Yeah.
No way this
I'm like, this was a week-long dream.
I'm a whole new person now. What do you mean it's only been 5 minutes? Okay, around 95% of dreams are forgotten by the time a person gets out of bed.
Yes.
I can, while I'm still in bed, if I'm just woke up, I can walk you through it. But it's just crazy how, like, the more awake you get, the more you do. Like,
yeah.
And you can even remember bits and pieces of, like, a dream that you've had forever, but you don't remember, like, the whole.
Yeah. Or even for me, a lot of the times, like, a sense will be triggered. Like, I'll see something or smell something or touch something, and then I'll remember a dream and be like, oh my God,
I was there.
I had that dream.
God.
Like, that was a dream.
Yeah, that's so cool. Dreaming can help you learn and develop long-term memories.
Yeah. I was also reading that a lot of the reason why you don't remember dreams is because they're put into your short-term memory bank.
I would almost like to think, and this is not facts, and I know we're talking facts right now, this is just facts, that, like, it's clearing out so much stuff that you've had, like, in your brain for a while, and it puts it into that short-term memory bank so that you have more room for other stuff.
Yes.
That's just my...
Facts.
Jesse facts. Blind people dream more with other sensory components compared with sighted people.
Wow.
And I wonder if it, you know, like, vivid or how it feels, because, you know, you hear that when you lose one sensation, the other sensations are heightened.
I wonder if they can see when they're dreaming.
Well, I think.
Or what they see.
Yeah, that would be
I would love
have a conversation.
Okay, if there's any blind people that listen to this podcast, I would love to talk to you. I don't know personally anyone that is blind, and I have so many
We have a huge
questions.
School in Santa Fe. There's a huge school
yes.
for the blind.
I just have, and
it's
like
incredible.
in such a kind way, not like, well, what do you do for that? Like, I want to pick your brain.
Curious.
I'm so curious.
So, there's possible explanations of why we dream.
Okay.
Representing unconscious desires and wishes. Interpreting random signals from the brain and body during sleep. Consolidating and processing information gathered during the day. Or working as a form of psychotherapy.
Yes, I have all of those too.
Wild. And then there is some evidence of what functions dreaming serves, like what our brain is doing up there, basically.
Okay.
Offline memory reprocessing, in which the brain consolidates learning and memory tasks. Preparing for possible future threats. That's all my brain does.
Yeah, no, I have...
That's all she's doing up there.
So for me, one of the theories is emotional processing and threat simulation, and then it breaks it down again to emotional confrontation, threat simulation, almost like to help you physically practice your coping, but it's like a practice
like practicing in what you would do.
Yes, and then the other one for that one is a fight or flight training. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say when you said that, like training your fight or flight. That's so interesting. Yeah. That's exactly what came to my mind when you said that. Like, you're just prepared. Your brain is so smart, and it's like, all right, this is what we got to do. This is what we got to do. And I wonder if, like, you are someone that worries a lot during the day or thinks about stuff like that more during the day. Are you prone to dream about it more? Or if people, like, stuff their worries down, do they come up when they're dreaming? That would be a really cool thing to look into.
Everything that I was reading said that people that are dreaming, there are reasons like anxiety, overwhelm, like definitely personality and things that are going on in the physical day are 100% how you're dreaming and what you're dreaming about too.
Yes, totally. Okay, and then cognitive, like you were saying, cognitive simulation of not just fight or flight, but real life situations, not, you know, it could be like day to day, which I feel like I have dreams like that all the time, like random interactions that like have no significance, but I'm like, am I practicing? Am I practicing for this right now? Reflecting unconscious mental function in a psychoanalytic way.
Yes.
A unique state of consciousness that incorporates experience of the present, processing of the past, and preparation for the future all at once, which, if that ain't the coolest thing ever. A psychological space where overwhelming, contradictory, or high complex notions can be brought together by the dreaming ego, which that is so cool.
It is.
Like, you're able to explore and experience things that you would never be able to do on Earth, like things that contradict each other or that are overwhelming. Like sometimes you want to wake up, but you can't. Like, it's almost like you're seated there and you're definitely going to experience this. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that is so crazy to think about, like all the ways and we dream and all the things that our dreams are doing for us.
Yeah. I do have one more thing to add to the facts, that factors that influence nightmares that are physical is late night meals, which is interesting. Certain medications, which they don't put the warning on it. I was reading, there was a person that literally was like, why wouldn't there be a warning on these medications? It tells me not to drive after I've taken it. It's told me all of this. And there were so many things that said certain medications will cause nightmares, but they don't have to put it on the label. Substance withdrawal. Yeah, I saw then lack of sleep will influence nightmares as well. Yeah. But it's so crazy. I'm just looking over my list real quick to make sure we covered all that before. One interesting thing I thought is why you dream about certain people. One of them on it that I wrote down was wish fulfillment. Like either you want like this person to have a presence, or you're wanting closure. It was like one extreme or the other. It was like you either are wanting this person to be welcome into your life, or you're wanting to close it and exit the life. And that is why they will present in your brain, because
that makes sense.
You're thinking about them in your brain too. But
I think as you saying that's like a dream that I have a lot, and it's at varying times in my life, and I dream about a specific ex a lot. And I think that this is common for women to talk about, and I don't think it should be shamed or like should be seemed as like weird or creepy. Like, but I have recurring dreams of this same ex, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to freaking dream about this person anymore, even when I've been at the happiest times in my marriage. But there was no closure. There was literally no closure in that relationship at all. And so you saying that is like, that's like my body, my brain, my everything is seeking this. And since it is literally just not going to happen in the physical, my brain's trying to make up for it in the dream realm.
Yes.
Wild. And yes, people dream about their exes all the time. So if you dream about your ex, it's okay. It doesn't mean you're still in love with them. Yeah,
because dreams are not facts. We have to remember that. Just like your thoughts aren't facts, dreams are not facts. And they're not premonitions. It's literally a brain dump.
Like, well, it could be a million other things, and I think it's like you don't take it as truth and fact of life. You take it as like, oh, what was that?
Yes.
That was very interesting, and something that we in our house, especially when it comes to nightmares, we have to drill this in, because I sit there with my children after they have a nightmare. First of all, obviously explaining that it's not real. But the thing that we do is I make them talk about it.
Yes.
And not like, talk about it! But I'm like, what? What did you see? Let's talk about it. What did you see? What was that monster doing? What was the monster going to do when it got to you? What happened when it got to you?
Yeah.
And then like making that like, okay, well, if a monster came in here, sometimes I'm very, very like honest. Like if a monster came in here, you know, the door would open, the dogs would bark. Other times I'm like, do you know how scary daddy is? Like daddy has monster, whatever, that he admits to the earth. You know, like whatever thing I'm going to say to squash that reality in every way possible of it happening, because a dream is not a reality. It's not.
No.
And when it is vivid or it is a nightmare and you feel it so deep, it can be hard to freaking shake, which is what makes drunk dreaming so freaking terrifying.
Yes.
I don't think I've had as scary, like realistic, like scary thinking it was actually happening to me, like dreams, as often as I do with my like drunk drinking or drunk dreaming. Drunk dreaming.
Yeah.
Drinking in your dreams. Because seriously, I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
And the first time it happened, at least for me, the first time it happened, and a couple times after that, honestly, into my sobriety journey, and I think that they can still happen every now and then, but it was so, like, shaking to the core the first time they happened, because, like, I had to remind myself, like, I had to wake up, and if you were someone that blacked out, that is a very familiar feeling.
Yeah.
Waking up and being like, oh my God, where am I? What did I do? Like, I've had to literally sit up in bed and be like, I didn't do that last night. Last night I was home. Last night I was this. And like, we didn't even really touch on pregnancy dreams, which are a whole nother type of vivid. But I, you know, had a pregnancy after I stopped drinking too. And I would literally have to be like, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, I know I didn't drink last night. I went to sleep at 8 p.m. and like, but I had to tell myself over and over and over again because it felt so freaking real to me.
Yeah.
Like the nonsense I was doing. And I remember taking the shot, feeling it going down my throat, like so freaking vivid. And when you are newly sober, like, that's terrifying.
Yes.
Talk about a nightmare.
Yeah. No, I recently, which honestly, I'm like 8 years in and still have them. Like, I dream a lot about cigarettes, which, because I talk about them all the time, I think.
Yeah.
They're
fresh on the mind.
That's not like surprising to me anymore. But this recent dream, it was a couple weeks ago, and I've talked about it a lot. I've talked about it in the meetings that we go to, and it was interesting because a lot of women that are in early sobriety do have like the relapse dreams, and they can feel so like defeating almost. Like, is that what's gonna happen? Like, am I gonna start drinking again? Like, and that's when honestly one of the women was like, dreams are not facts. She was like, I'm telling all of you this right now. They are not facts. They are not like future. Like, it's just your brain. But so my dream, it was after a party that I was at where people were drinking, and that night I went home and I dreamt that I was so drunk that I had a person on each side of me holding me up, and then there was another person just pouring the alcohol in my mouth, and I kept telling them more, and I like couldn't hold my head up. I couldn't stand. They were holding me up, and while this was happening, I was telling myself, Allie, this is a dream. You need to wake up. This is a dream. You need to wake up. But I could not wake up from this dream. And they were just shot after shot kept pouring. And I, like, one person was even holding my head up so that the shot could go down. And I could not wake up out of this dream, even though my subconscious was telling myself in this dream, like, this is not happening. This is not real. You're dreaming. Wake up. But I would not wake up. And the craziest part about it is I woke up and I had scrapes on my knees.
Yeah, because you were probably freaking fighting people. And Chris is next to you like, what the heck is going on? You're like crawling in your sleep.
I woke up so frantic and I was like freaked out. And then like later that day, I was wearing jeans that didn't have holes for once in my life. And I was like, oh, what's under here? And then I looked and my knee was all scraped. And I was just like, and I even asked Chris, I was like, do you remember me getting out of bed last night? Because I don't sleepwalk as much anymore, but I have woken up typing on my laptop. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, no, my gosh, please no.
Well, and it's a very common thing to happen, which is something that I feel like needs to be said and screamed about in sober communities, soberish communities. Like, it's so freaking common. Dreams about drinking alcohol can be called drinking dreams or relapse dreams. They're so common, especially during recovery or when dealing with stressful situations. So that's another thing I think to add to the mix. Like, however long you are in your sobriety. It's not just like in early sobriety or recovery, but like when you're dealing with stressful situations, it can being the key word here, can be a sign of your brain processing your relationship with alcohol, cravings, or underlying anxieties. When I was looking this up, there were so many things. This was very discouraging to me. I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to say this isn't true. I'm going to say I was discouraged by how much the flood of information said that you drunk dream because you're craving alcohol. I do think there's truth to that, but I do not think that that's like the only reason you drunk dream. I don't crave alcohol in any way, shape, or form. I would be very surprised if someone dissected my brain, looked into my subconscious, and was like, there it is. That person still craves alcohol. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I think that we need to open it up a lot more. And I think telling someone who is in any stage of recovery, like, you're dreaming about alcohol because you want it, that's defeating. That's like, oh my God, then how am I ever going to stop? Because I can't have any control over my dreams. And oh my gosh, I want alcohol all the time. Like, I'm glad that this didn't exist when I was really fresh in my recovery, because I think if someone would have told me that, I would have been like, oh my gosh, like
I'm craving it so bad, I'm dreaming about it.
Yeah, I can't stop, instead of like, I'm dreaming about it for all of these reasons, that we're about to get into. So I'll put that first. I was a little bit.
Yeah, no, I was taken back too, because it said, what I kept reading was confronting cravings in a safe environment, which I'm like, no.
That's weird.
I feel like there's no safe environment. Sorry.
Well, and it's like
even if it's your dream, I did not feel safe at all. Like,
yes.
I didn't.
And on like one handful of like, this could be the reason why you're drunk dreaming, relapse dreaming. Another handful is PTSD.
Yeah, triggers.
So you want to put those two together, like they don't mix. Like, I'm having this dream because of something that traumatized me in my brain, and I'm still processing it. That does not mean that I still want to drink alcohol. That means that I haven't processed this.
Yes.
So being very careful, like, obviously I lightheartedly take everything AI says, but I also use my brain. And if AI says something that I'm like, oh, I don't, like, I'm not going to prescribe to it. And I know that I have a very, very strong personality, and that's why I'm like that. And I just hope that other people out there aren't going to look at this and take that for fact either. Like, oh my gosh, this is the only reason why I'm drunk dreaming. God, that is really a tongue twister. I can't say it. Okay, Alcohol Rehab says that dreaming of drinking could be, this is from joinclubsoda.com, by the way. I don't know if it's a revolution, if we're just drinking club soda. I don't know, but I really like joinclubsoda.com. Okay, Alcohol Rehab says that dreaming of drinking could be a result of incentive sensitization theory. This means that if you previously used alcohol as a reward, you still might have a subconscious drive to use it in this way again. They can also occur simply because alcohol used to be a huge or important part of your life. Mm-hmm. It is completely understandable that these memories will continue to influence your dreams even after quitting. It could also be due to a stressful situation or changes in your life, causing you to dream that you are using alcohol as a coping mechanism, because that is something that you've done before.
Yes.
This is where it starts to get good, and I agree with Alcohol Rehab. They argue that drunk dreams or relapse dreams can even be seen as a positive thing. It has been suggested that relapse dreams can be beneficial in a number of ways. This is particularly likely if you wake up and you feel discomforted by the dream. The reaction is evidence that you value your new life more. You don't need to feel guilty. It can be a good reminder of what might lie in store if you do drink. And it could motivate you to like double down on your efforts. That's always going to be a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so do you think that they can be positive, your drunk dreams? I mean, that one was very traumatic, so let's...
Yeah, well, no, and I tend to remember more of the bad. Just, like, I feel like everyone, you go and write a bad review before you go and write a good review.
Totally.
But the causes that I was looking at too was the like triggering, like seeing old drinking friends, and literally that's what happened to me.
It triggered it.
Like that's why I had that dream, because I was around my old drinking crew, and and I don't know if in my head I like was feeling left out and wanted to like be included, and that's maybe why I had that dream. And my dream was like a vision of what I would be like if I started drinking again, or like fast forward, you know, because in that dream I couldn't see myself, like I don't even know if it was actually me, like it was
just like an entity,
and it was but I did, this is kind of off subject, but in college I did have a lot of nightmares, and I would try to figure out why I was having these nightmares, and it always went back to when I drank rum, and I stopped drinking rum because these nightmares were like so horrifying to me, and like they were so scary to the point where I would try to sleep in my roommate's room, and she would be like, "Allie, you're gonna be okay. You have bronx. Like just go back to your room with bronx." And I'd be like, "Okay."
I think they're positive. This is not just club soda. Join club soda anymore. This is just thoughts.
Okay.
I think that they're positive for these reasons.
Okay.
I feel like they're traumatic, obviously. It will take a while to kind of come back from them, but it's giving you a mile marker of where you are in your journey.
Yes.
Like, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna immediately know, like, where, like, oh God, like, I did kind of miss that, or like, oh my God, that was awful, or like, it's gonna be very obvious when you wake up, like, what you feel about that alcohol. Because you just dreamt it. It was very real. So it gives you kind of like, here's where you're at. Here's an honest look at where you're at in your journey. It plays the tape forward for you. So that's the thing, you know, this is an AA saying for so long, and I really love that everyone has kind of adopted it in the alcohol-free community, because playing the tape forward is so crucial to getting through cravings, reminding yourself why you're doing it. And it's basically like, what would happen if I drank? And you play the tape and you're like, well, I would drink, I would do this, we would laugh, it would be fun, then I would puke, then I would pass out, then I would punch whoever was with me, then I would wake up with a hangover. I feel like when you're drunk dreaming, it's doing that for you.
Yes.
Like, you don't even have to play the tape. Your mind is like, nope, this is what would happen if you drank. Here, look up, it's right here. Once you realize you were dreaming, it validates you.
Yes.
It validates exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. Like, it's like a confirmation. It's like almost like a gift from above, being like, hey, this is where you could be, but babe, you're here. Like, yay.
Yeah.
And to go back to almost like kind of yours, it can be highlighting a trigger or a trauma that's still lingering in there somewhere. And I think that that is important to remember. Just like there are people that I've heard of that are like, you know, in their 60s, 70s, 80s that are getting hypnotherapists and recovering something that happened to them when they were a child that they didn't even realize they did. Like, if you are a blacker outer, imagine how many times that has happened to you when you were a drinker. Like, it's only natural that stuff is stored in there, and your body remembers. Your body has an animal brain. Your body remembers everything that you went through. And if you haven't fully been able to process everything, like, maybe that's why it's coming up in your dreams. And so we have some ways to kind of like cope.
Yes, I have on my list a therapist, or talk about it. Like,
Number one advocates for therapists.
Yes, like if not a therapist, just talk about it. Like Jess said, she talks about it with her kids. I talk about it with my kids. And when you sit down and you talk about the dream, you realize, like, so I'm just going to say an example real quick. With Quinn, she was having horrifying nightmares about Harry Potter. And I'm like, all right, let's talk about it. Harry Potter's a wizard. He's these things in the movie are not real. Like, this is not going to happen. You're not riding a broom. Like, this is not real. And she's like, no, Mom, I'm worried that somebody's going to come into our house and kill you guys and put a lightning bolt on my head.
Oh.
And so it's
you were like thinking about it completely
I'm thinking
differently.
about Harry Potter and Quidditch. And she's thinking about literally someone entering their home and killing her parents and someone taking her. And it's like, okay, I would have, like, now the conversation shifts to a very different conversation, because when you talk about it with somebody, they will be able to see a different version than you. Just like you don't know it's happening when it's happening to you, you know, and talking and voicing what's going on inside of that chaotic brain that we have.
It takes the power away from that.
Yeah,
it takes the power away from, you know, whatever situation. You're like taking your power back, which is a theme in our lives right now. But like, you talking about it is like, nope, the power was there, but I'm going to bring it back here. I'm going to say, this is what it is. This is what was happening. This is what's not real about it. You disarm it. You're just like, okay, now it doesn't have any power over me. Yeah.
So I do think it's so important to actually talk about it. Like, and maybe not even nightmares. Like, just like we have a Glimmers episode. Let's talk about the good
ones.
Like, let's tell people, oh my God, I dreamt we were millionaires last night, you know? Or like, I dreamt this or that, you know? It's like, let's not just talk about the awful ones. Let's talk about the good ones too.
So good.
Another one is identifying the triggers. Like, that's, because I've been processing that drunk dream for 2 weeks now. And I'm like, why did I have that dream? Why? And I've talked about it with a lot of random people that don't know me at all, which that's what I do. Because I'd rather just talk and not hear what's really coming at me.
Oh gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, and I think that in that, it does help me process. But in that, it's like identifying the triggers of that dream.
Yeah. Totally.
The next thing is your Mox toolbox. Phone a friend, like almost like the therapist too, but like and like how you were saying, like it's almost validating waking up realizing that was a dream. Those aren't facts. That's not what actually happened. This is where I am. This is how far I've come. Just kind of reminding yourself.
Call someone and talk about that too. Yeah. Or write anyone on your sober Instagram.
Yes. And then the last one I have is practicing self-care in the way of reducing stress. So exercise, meditation, talk to your supportive people that you know you feel safe with, that aren't going to make you feel bad.
All of that stuff also aids in better sleep, which aids in better dreaming.
Yes.
So I came at it from like when you first wake up from it, almost like day of.
Yeah.
Having a relapse dream or a drunk dream. I think the very first thing you need to do is take deep breaths when you wake up.
Yes.
Just in through your nose, out through your mouth. Honestly, whatever comes in your head, let it come and go, but just focusing on your breathing. And then the next thing is recentering and grounding yourself. And that can look like a number of different things. The thing that I said, you know, like, this is who I am. I was in bed at 8 p.m. last night. I have not had a drink in 5.5 years. Like, I would, you know, grounding, or even going outside, feeling what's beneath you, sitting on the ground, realizing where you are. Okay, I am in 2025, blah, blah, blah. I'm in my room. I didn't go to a bar last night. Journal about what you saw, what you felt, like, judgment free.
Yes.
Like, this is what I was doing. This is who was there. This is what happened. And then keeping with that theme of journaling about what you actually did, or what you're going to make your day instead. Like, okay, so I dreamt last night that I did this, but in reality, it was beautiful because I hung out at home. I did this, or today, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to have a hungover day. And then lastly, like, making the morning as luxurious as you can. I mean, sometimes we have to run and go to work or whatever, but if you have a relapse dream, same as if you have a nightmare, like, be kind to yourself. If that means, like, listening to whatever music you want to listen to, being 5 minutes late because you stopped and got a Starbucks or whatever, like, I mean, I'm sorry, you can send my number to all your bosses, but I am a huge advocate of being 5 minutes late if you can. Take time for yourself, because that was a lot what you went through, and it can be related to trauma. It can be related to triggers, and we're not just supposed to wake up from something so traumatic and triggering and act like it never happened and go off in our normal job, like, day to day. We're not robots.
Yeah.
We're humans, and we need to process, and we need to take time. And if we are shutting off those feelings, guess what? You're going to have about 10 more drunk dreams about it.
Yeah.
Because you're not processing.
Yeah, you need to process.
But, you know, it's it's going to be a positive experience at the end of the day because, like we said, it's validation in what you're doing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be where you were if you were still doing the things that your drunk dreams are telling you to do. There's some hope and healing.
Yes, so much healing
in looking into those. So don't be scared. Don't be afraid of them. Reach out for support when you have them. Know that they're common. And like Al said, be kind. Give yourself self-care. It's so important.
Yes.
We love you, babes.
Talk soon.